All right, guys, welcome to Yellow Jacket Athletic. I'm here with Cam Love. Thanks for being here, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So we just want to ask you a couple questions, about this past season and things like that. First off, what do you feel like this season, overall, how y'all been? Talk about that, and then also coming short in the little conference tournament.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was really appreciative of the year we had. We had a lot of growing. We had a young team that started to pick up towards the end of the year. Especially, I think our last 11 games we were 8-3 or 9-2, one of those two. And so we really found our stride late in the season, and I was happy with our growth that we made, and I'm happy with what we're going to build on for next year. Unfortunately, we got mines in the second round of that tournament, and the expectation, when you come to Black Hills, is to be in the Elite Eight, be in the national conversation, and that was a chance to do it. And they're a really good team, and unfortunately, just came up short in a tough game. But I think hopefully a year like this will help us grow and develop, and really set the foundation for next year. Hopefully, be a team that returns to Final Four level, Elite Eight level, regional level. Promise.
Yeah. Can you speak a little bit on that transfer report? You came here to BH, and obviously being here kind of helped you push yourself to being that top guy for us. Can you just talk about a little bit that for us?
Yeah, the transfer portal, it's crazy nowadays with college athletics. But I was at Colorado State, and I decided to leave to go find a place where I maybe flourish and thrive earlier in my career. And Coach Thompson and Black Hills obviously had a great tradition, and tradition of winning, tradition of success, and I thought that it would just be the best place for me to come in and have an effect on basketball, but also be part of a winning culture. And so it just made sense to me after meeting the guys, obviously seeing here people, Spearfish, obviously big time support.
Yeah,
so I'm a lot of support for us. So kind of when all of that came together, I just felt like it was a perfect fit for me to, be successful, get pushed, like you said, but also be a part of a great culture and a great community.
Yeah, and also with here being in your first year here, you made an amazing impact here right away.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of helped you make that impact on your first year here?
Yeah, I'd say, my teammates were the biggest part, because they, allowed me to come in right away and play with freedom and be me. And they were the ones who put me in good positions all year. So without them, I obviously don't have as good of a season as I did. And then Coach Thompson too, I think his commitment to me and his development, and he's a very, very smart basketball coach. Those two things kind of made it not necessarily easy, but gave me the best opportunity to have a successful season individually, because my teammates are great teammates, great people, and Coach Thompson did a great job putting me in situations where I could be successful. And then you just add that to the body of work I've been putting together my whole life, and it just that's how it came through.
Yeah, and you kind of talk about that, your teammates and your coaches. How you feel when you able to take that role? Like, what was that mindset for you? Being that guy for us, that leading scorer. Giving us that push when we're down and things like that.
Yeah, I really think that role I came in with the idea I just want to affect winning, right? And being a new guy, it's tough. You can't come in with like the attitude that I'm better than everybody else. I'm going to come in. That's not how it works, right? You have to earn respect. You have to earn your role. You have to earn everything. So I think that was my mindset, was just like, try to do your best to affect winning, whether that's defensive, being a great teammate, being a great leader. And if in your first year that leads to you getting the ball in great situations, or being a guy that needs to score more, or whatever your role is, then you try to be the best at that. And luckily, I was in a position where I could be a leader for us on the court as well, and get the ball in my hands late in games, and be put in positions to go be successful. But it all came with the mindset of just, how can I affect winning, and then let everything else work out.
Okay. With that, like you said, you have all these accolades. You became freshman of the year, first team all conference, things like that. What them goals you set yourself for the beginning of the season, or are you just playing ball? Like, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I obviously had a certain amount of goals individually that I wanted to achieve, but at the end of the day, you can't accomplish that without the team goal. So the team goal was the most important thing, and that was to be, first of all, to be the best team we could be, and then also we had some team goals that we fell short of, unfortunately. But individually, it was kind of like those awards will come when you put the team first and you put those team goals in front of yourself. Those awards will come. I was excited to get first team, and then freshman of the year, those were nice recognitions, but those weren't necessarily the goals I put out for myself. Okay. I did have my one individual goal was to be 50% field goal percentage, 40% three, and 90% free throw, and I did not get that. So maybe next year.
You talked about earlier with the team and how y'all trying to come back to this, to being a Final Four contender, being in the big tournament, things like that. What are the things this offseason you feel like the team need to work on so y'all can get that push for the next season?
I think what we need to work on as a collective group is just our toughness and our mindset going forward in the future. We had a lot of young guys who didn't necessarily, including me, I didn't know what it took to win in college. Now that we've all kind of as a young group got that year under our belt, I think it's going to set us up at a mentality standpoint. So I think that's first off. That experience, that mentality, and that toughness that we're going to try to put together through a spring and a summer will set us up in fall. Secondly, I think everybody's just got to elevate parts of their game. Okay. And it's not, we don't need anybody to become like an all-star. Shout out to Jack Haggett, freshman from Australia. His big thing and we know his step is going to be in the weight room. Yeah. So certain guys are getting in the weight room and they need to take a step there. Certain guys maybe we need you to be more efficient shooter. So their workouts are kind of constructed that coaches have completely identified things that we need to be better, and every guy's putting in the work. Now the consistency will be, can you do it over the summer? Can you do it in the fall? I believe that if everybody commits to their few things that they got to get better with, and you add a few transfer portal pieces, which we added a couple guys already with a couple young guys coming in, I think it sets us up in a place to be success in the fall. But then you get to the fall and the same thing, you got to go earn that. So, I mean, there's nothing that I can say is like, we need to do this and we're going to be a Final Four team. Like, that's just not how basketball works. But if everybody takes the steps they've learned out or planned out with coach in their off season, and we got a couple recruits and we're maybe get one or two more, we're going to be right where we want to be, and it'll be up to us whether we can go achieve our goals. It won't necessarily be like we couldn't. So,
all right, final question here. What did the off season look like for you? You kind of talked about how you didn't meet your goals this past season. So what are you doing this off season so the next season you can hit these goals, and maybe even not even just hit the goal, elevate your game even more, so you might get a double team next year, or case may be.
Yeah. So you want my individual plan?
Yeah.
So personally, what my off season will consist of is four weight room sessions with Coach Kellen. He's great, and that'll be basically 4 times in the weight room a week until season. So that'll be a big one. Coach Thompson, Coach Mack, and Coach Kabiris, we have individuals with them twice a week. Those individual workouts for an hour, and then we practice 3 times a week in a little hour session where we compete against each other. So those are what everybody's gonna have to do. Me personally, I'm going to try to develop as a playmaker, so that when teams adjust, right? If I'm scoring a lot and teams adjust to take me away, I can do a good job of being a playmaker, get other teammates open, and elevate us as a team. So I'm trying to really work as a playmaker to develop in my passing, and then also just tighten screws and get more efficient, whether that's in the post, on the drives, but being way more efficient with what you do in terms of like, if it's this move's you're not scoring a lot on this. All right, well, we need to find something that when I'm driving left or driving right, it's very detailed. Like driving left, for example, I was 45%. I only shot 40% driving left. I shot 65% driving right. All right, so we need to elevate our driving left, right? So that'll be an emphasis. And then lastly, defensively, just growing, being a better defender. Personally, those are the steps I want to make. If I make those steps and continue to work, extra shots up, extra workouts. I'm getting in the pool too, trying to get that cardio. I'm not a great swimmer though, so that's definitely a challenge. But
I can't swim at all, so you're doing better than me.
So those, I put that in a journal, and I have a schedule, and trying to work on nutrition, but I like sweets too much. That's a problem. But if you stay focused on those goals with the end goal in mind of like, I want to be the best player I can be, and I want to be the part of the best team we can be, like, then I'll find myself in the fall after this off season feeling very happy about where I'm at.
All right, thank you for your time, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Cam, love y'all. Thank you.